Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. I am Chris, joined by my brothers Adam and Eric, and we are back in the room once again to talk more about video games. This time, doing another bonus feature. So, this isn't our next full length podcast episode, that's still coming. But we wanted to take the opportunity to talk about the PS5 launch event, which we all watched on the 11th of June. Well, actually, two of us watched it live, and one of us just went, "Yeah, show me the good stuff the next day." Would that be right, Eric? Did you just check out like the trailers the next day?
Yeah, but in fairness, the actual reveal of the PS5 was actually probably one of the best ones. Probably one of the best trailers I watched.
Okay. Did you watch every trailer for every game, or did you just watch the ones that looked interesting to you, without saying which games they were?
I'm pretty sure I watched all of them.
Okay.
Like people, because the makers put in the effort to make these games and make the trailers, so I wasn't going to go, no, I'll push aside. I'm going to watch all of them to see what they're like.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched all of them.
Okay. So we have an idea of what the overall show was, even if you didn't watch it in structure order or whatever. We all got a grasp of the overall thing. So I suppose first of all, first impressions. What did everyone make of the overall presentation? Adam, I'd like to come to
so
first.
this obviously, instead of the E3, PlayStation weren't going to do E3 regardless of E3 going on anyway. They
Right.
pulled out of E3. So this was their type of event they were going to do anyway. I thought it started off amazingly. Like
Right.
the first game shown, top notch.
Well,
Yeah, the first game.
the first new game, right? Wasn't the first game shown because it came up? Not to be interrupting you, but then it came Rockstar, and I was like, "Oh my God, are they going to show?
right.
Are they
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
show
yeah,
GTA
yeah.
6?
Yeah.
It was GTA 5 again." And like, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying that game, but I'm like,
Yeah.
this is an old game to be.
Yeah.
I was like,
So the
please don't let this all be remasters.
first new game. First new game.
First new game, yeah, I was
Um,
excited about that.
But
too.
then I thought the pacing was really, really weird after that. Like it was really, because they had these like kind of transition effects and stuff between clips as well, which kind of slowed the pace down. I know what they were doing, and they're kind of cool, but like just its implementation kind of slowed it down. It almost felt like they were trying to replicate the slow transition on stage.
Yes.
And I don't think they needed to do that. I think they could have just like pumped these out, like made it like a lot.
Made it snappier.
Because towards the end, they did start to quicken the pace a bit, and like we're getting hit after hit after hit. It was like really, really good.
Yeah.
So that would be. But I think for a first time, kind of, I suppose, online event, they're so used to doing this on stage. I thought it went really, really well. And there was no cringe as well. Like you always get these developers coming on. Like developers aren't used to public speaking. Like
No,
I mean, we
no,
get
yeah.
them. They get a lot of flack for like messing up their lines or trying to land a joke and it didn't land well and all this kind of stuff. But their job is to make games. They're not public speakers. But in this setting, they were able to kind of rehearse it and record it, and if it didn't go well, re-record it, get it to the way they want it, and then present it. So I quite like the setting. It's kind of sad that we're probably never going to get an E3 again.
Possibly
Considering this
not,
went
because
well.
they found now that they can do it digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, I mean, E3 is a good opportunity to make money, though, as well, right? Like, people buy tickets.
Not for developers.
Not for the developers, no.
Not
But I
really.
think the organizers of E3 would still want to do it. And then if it's going to hit in a non-pandemic world, and all of your competitors are going to be there, even if you're like, I'd rather do it digitally, you might be like, well, I probably should be there if everyone else is.
I mean, Nintendo pulled out a couple of years back. Sony this time around pulled out. The only ones that were going to be there, I think, were going to be Microsoft, Ubisoft, Square, and I think maybe Devolver. That's it. Like EA, I suppose, as well. So like for the big publishers, this does make sense. I think like for EA and Ubisoft, E3 does make sense because you're trying to showcase your games. But with like Microsoft and Sony, a lot of the games that they're showing, like unless they have first party exclusive, which on Microsoft side of things that wasn't really happening for many years.
Yeah.
And then with Sony, like there's been a few years where there's kind of like a gap in between their exclusives. They're just going to regurgitate all the same stuff that the other stages just showed,
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the issue. It was a lot of money for Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo to hire the stage and prep it, and you're also taking developers out of their studio to try and make a demo that would suit. So yeah, I think this is definitely the end of E3 unless those other third-party developers continue.
KFC might show up at E3 with the KF console. People need to check that out. That is the most amazing thing. It blew my mind. Eric, then what was your overall vibe or overall take on the event from an aftermath?
Yeah, because I never actually watched. You can actually watch the whole live event. I think it's about an hour and a half or something like that. You can't watch the whole thing. I didn't, so I didn't have to put up with the slow transitions or the star swipes or whatever the Star Wars transitions that they were using. I didn't have to put up that, so I could just kind of go, oh, there you go. So it went at the pace that I wanted, and I watched all the trailers in the order that they came up essentially. So I thought I didn't mind it. Obviously I obviously didn't get the surprises when there was some surprises within the
because
when they were showing off
thumbnails on YouTube would give it away, right?
Yeah,
the names
and then obviously it'd be titled the same thing. So obviously I didn't get that, but still they showed some really, really impressive stuff. So I'm actually looking quite forward to this next gen.
Yeah. I was pretty about in terms of the event early on. I was pretty meh about it. I was pretty like nothing's really. I mean, there was the first new game they showed. I was like, cool. I didn't expect that to be sort of the next direction for that series. And then there was a lot. I was like, nothing's really gripping me here. And I mean, they keep saying check out the next generation of graphics, and everything was this like animation style. That I was like, I love the artwork that they're coming out with, but I can't actually see how good the new graphics are going to be. This looks like it could have been on PS4, so I'm not actually getting a feel for how powerful this machine was until later. I got to see some stuff later, and I was like, wow, this looks fantastic. But I will say, as an event overall, I think, like, had it been hit for hit for me, and I would have been like, oh, that was amazing, the best thing I ever seen, it wouldn't have been so good for everyone. Whereas what happened here was, if you're into sports, there was sports games. If you're a young audience member, there was like a lot of kids games there. There was a fantasy game, there was a sci-fi game, there was a horror game, there was a big AAA game, there was a superhero game. So what I found by the end of it was, there was something for everyone to get them excited about the next generation, even if it wasn't, for me, jam-packed with hits. There was something for everyone. So I think in that sense, I understood the presentation, even like some of the stuff that like was barely ready to show, but at least it represented a certain audience member. Yeah. So look at, we got this thing coming for you, and we got this thing coming for you. So I appreciated the overall presentation. Some of the transitions were cool, but after a while I was like, I could do it a few less of these. I was like, I get it. Yeah. I get it. The PlayStation controller has a triangle, a square, an X, and a circle.
Yeah, and it was so clear that it was all leading up to that end reveal. Like that's right. Yeah, it was so clear that that's what they were doing. But yeah, it was just a little too. I think they may have like learned Cinema 4D and got really excited about like making projects in it.
Yeah. They were just like, check out this cool transition.
Check out this animation I made.
This is so cool, bro. This is so cool. Okay, so without messing around, obviously the big reveal was the PS5 itself, right? Yeah. That was the big thing that they were leading up to. Actually, let me see. Can I? I'm gonna get this up. Share screen, right? I'm gonna get this up. Right. Okay.
Oh, so, gotcha.
First thoughts. When you saw the PS5. What was your first thoughts? Eric, I'm asking you first because you sound like you're eating it.
Oh yeah, I would eat that. I would eat that whole. I would put that in my KF console. It'd be great. My chicken fried console. I mean, like, I loved when they started off the trailer, they had all this weird cubic effect or something, or kind of like those weird magnetic balls that kind of just move and flow with each other.
Yeah.
And obviously, I knew it was the PS5 reveal because it said it in the YouTube thumbnail. So I was like, okay, I don't know where they're going with this. And I was like, okay, that's grand. And at the minute they showed it, I was like, that is a sexy piece of hardware right there. That is.
And there's our thumbnail. That's a sexy piece of hardware.
It looks like something from the future. You know what I mean? It's like I could see that in like the set of Star Trek or something.
Yeah. It is from the future. It's coming out later.
No, it's not out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it actually. Yeah, Eric's probably right. It looks like a very raunchy advertisement for a sex robot from Detroit become human.
I mean, I was not going to go any further with the sexy face. That is the furthest
But
it
like,
can
I
go.
remember when you were talking about it. I thought you knew that I wasn't watching it. So when you were talking, you were like, "Oh my god, look at that!"
Talk to him.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
group
I know that was so great. And then it was in a group chat, and then Adam put up like a picture of what was the
It's the
BMW
BMW
i8 or
i8.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he put up a picture of that car, and I was thinking to myself, they must be pulling my leg or something. Like, what are they saying? Because the most vague stuff you say is like, "Oh, that was cool." Yeah, it was cool. Look at this picture of a car. I was like, what are they on about? So when I saw
it's
the
like
actual console, I
PS5
was
actually revealed
okay.
a new car.
yeah, it was like, I get it now. I get what they was on about.
Yeah.
It looks
Does look
like
like
the BMW 8.
Yeah,
Looks like
I mean, it's got that kind of color pattern and style.
But no, it's a really good, well structured. Yeah, it was actually like advertising the car. It was just
Yeah,
a really well structured trailer.
Well, it's a new piece of hardware you can drive. What was your first impressions of it, Adam?
Well, it was the BMW i8. That's like because I remember watching the reveal of that car like a few years back.
All right.
And I absolutely love the design of it and the way it uses LEDs, the blue LEDs. And this just looks like it in console form. It actually looks like when you see people doing their mock-up, like what they think the console's gonna look like.
Yeah,
Did you ever see those? Like mock-ups for the PS3 and PS4 and stuff.
Yeah.
This actually looks like one of those type of concepts.
It does.
Which is actually really, really cool.
Sleek.
It is out there. It is wacky. Like if people don't like this, I totally understand. Like this is not hands down the nicest looking console ever, but I think it is a great direction for this console.
Yeah.
Because I thought the PS4 by default was the nicest looking. Like it wasn't the nicest looking console of last gen just because it was only because the competitor wasn't as good. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like the Xbox One. Now I'm referring just to the first Xbox One because I think the One S is actually the nicest console of that gen.
Right.
But the original Xbox One just looked like uninspired VCR box.
Yeah.
Now that made the PS4 look like the nicer console, but I actually don't think the PS4 is actually that nice of a console. I think it's quite boring.
Yeah,
it's bland, it's safe. I like this direction. It is bold. I would be interested to see where they're going to go with the slim model.
Yeah, right.
But,
well, is it that they're going to do a slim model, or because they've shown now there's a digital version and a disc version, right? And the digital version is obviously slimmer. I wonder if that's their new take on. Maybe there will be a slim version that takes discs too, but is there a need to do that?
I think there will be I think there will be a slimmer version, but it won't take discs.
So a slimmer digital version.
Yeah. See, the reason for the digital version, and it's quite clear. This thing is expensive to manufacture. This thing is really expensive to manufacture. So how do we get the price down? Well, we're going to have to sell a different version to make it look cheaper than it actually is.
Yeah.
Judging by polls online, a lot of people seem to be wanting to get the disc version.
Yeah, no, I would too.
So I think the digital version is really just to give it that entry starting at this price kind of a thing. But
Yeah, I agree.
I think most people are going to, and it could be, yeah, I don't know if the storage options are going to be much different, but I'd say just that digital version is just to get that price down. I don't think it has any other, just any other motivation behind it.
Yeah, I on first impressions, I actually wasn't blown away straight away. I was just kind of like, I don't know why. I think I'm like that with most things when I see it for the first time. I just go, oh, there it is. I don't know why. I did often it takes me a bit of time to think about it before I decide how I really feel about it. But
Sure.
I'll first feel because something gets so built up and then you just see it and you go, it's kind of like, I don't know, you're looking forward to album artwork maybe for a band you like, and then it gets released and you go, oh, well, there it is. And it doesn't always grip you, and then maybe later on, or when you hear the album, you're like, oh, it's clicking now. But the more then when I thought about it, I do like that it's bold. I agree with that. I do like that it's not a straightforward, another just plain black console. I do like its interesting shape. It kind of reminded me though of like a futuristic take on, or a modern take on, the kind of Xbox 360 look.
Yeah, definitely. There is definitely
the curve of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. I'm actually really surprised with the design that they've gone for in a good way. I am pleasantly surprised. It's not what I was expecting at all. I saw a lot of concept designs that I thought, I was like, that one's probably pretty close to what the PS5 is going to be, you know. Some of them I actually did. I think I do like more, some of the concept ones. Some of them are really out there. But this did really surprise me. But I'm really surprised with the Xbox Series X. Like really surprised with how
Do you
that
not like
looks.
that one?
Not at all.
Oh,
Not
really?
at
Okay.
all. I just think it's just a box.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic console. It's just from the pure design perspective, right? Because none of us have actually tried any of these yet. So, and
No.
they can say what they like about what they can do. Until you try it, you cannot actually talk about, which console you're really going to prefer. But
Yeah.
from purely the design aesthetic, the PlayStation 5 looks more stylish and more interesting. And the Xbox
Right.
Series X to me just looks like a computer monitor. Not a monitor, sorry, the actual
Tower?
The
Tower, yeah.
computer tower, yeah.
I have to be honest. I joked about the KFC console, right? Which just seemed, I don't know if that's a real thing or a joke, because there is a KFC gaming company. But that looked more interesting to me. It's themed after a chicken bucket, but it's black and chrome and got lights on it. And that looked more interesting to me than the Xbox Series X. It needs something, I think.
This is the first time where I think that I really, really loved both designs, and I can't tell which one I prefer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking
So,
hell.
like with the PS3 and 360 era,
Yeah.
like the original fat PS3, that's like my favorite design console, or one of my favorite design consoles. I really love that console. I hated the slim version, and I think for a lot of people actually it's the other way around. They really hate that bigger one for some reason. But to me, that it's so clear to me that PS3 is a much nicer design than the 360. Although the 360 I think looks great, but I just prefer the PS3. With the PS4 and the Xbox One, I explained why I think the PS4 looks better. This time, I can't, because the design language is so different between the two. Yeah, the Xbox looks a little more like a PC tower, but that's because that's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
They are going for this whole like Xbox as a gaming kind of like a software nearly that you can play on anything. And here's a tower you can play on. The PlayStation 5, on the other hand, is going in a completely different direction. But what I love about both of them is that their design is totally built around their function, which is keeping the thing cool. So with the Series X, it's all based around that fan at the top that's just blowing air out through the top.
Yeah.
So sucks air in and blows out top. So that's the optimal shape for that design. So the outside of it to me reflects the internals, which is what I fucking love about it. Like I love shit that's designed to, it has to be that way, otherwise, it doesn't function. So instead of slapping chrome on or putting like a wooden panel on it for just like, aesthetic reasons,
Yeah.
they're just choosing something that's like, this is how it has to look this way, otherwise the thing will break. And I think that's really cool. PlayStation have gone kind of the opposite way. It's still designed that way because if it doesn't, it won't keep the thing cool. So we can see with the kind of V shape at the top.
Yeah.
That's to optimize the vents, and so they're both like designed around cooling. But they have obviously applied this kind of shape and paneling to it as well, to add a bit of schwank, I guess. But yeah, I really like the two of them, and I'd be happy to have either on my TV unit. I wouldn't be embarrassed to own any of them.
I never said I'd be embarrassed. I just, purely from an aesthetic point of view, I prefer the look of the PS5 this time around. I'm just surprised. I totally get the fan thing and everything, and the Xbox has always been sort of a little bit more like a computer device to me anyway. It's Microsoft. It's kind of connected that way. But I'm just surprised the outside doesn't have something on it that gives it a little bit of style as well. Like the substance is there.
I think the advantage of the Xbox over the PlayStation 5 design is that the Xbox Series X is so plain that they can do special editions with it. They can put graphics on the outside.
Oh yeah, sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
And they can have like a Halo edition, they can have a Gears edition, whatever.
That's actually a good point. The PS5 probably won't look.
Yeah, you can't really do
will
much.
Never
with
look good when it's not just the form that it is. But then I was never big into graphics on.
No, I wasn't either.
Anyway, but I get a lot of people are. There is a market for that. Eric, of the two, have you seen the Xbox Series X, Eric?
No, I actually haven't seen it. So you was talking about it as the first I know anything about it. So I'm just imagining our old Dell tower.
No. It is. No, it's got less details on it than that.
It's a square. It's a black box.
It's a black box with a huge like grid on the top of it, which is like where the fan blows the air out.
All right.
Have a look at it and see what you think. But I mean, some people probably will prefer it. It's interesting. If nothing else, the two consoles will get people talking. Yeah. Whether it's like, why did they go with that? Or, oh my God, I love that they went with that. Like they're both a little bit kind of controversial for very different reasons. One of them is like, whoa, PlayStation have gone like totally white and have gone for this real curved kind of and stand up like a tower look. That's usually even though you can stand up, usually they're flat. Usually they stand flat. That's usually kind of the way they're marketed. And they've gone for black ever since PS2. Right? So this is the opposite. This is crazy. And then the Xbox, it's like, whoa. Usually it looks like a console. Now it doesn't. So either way, it'll get people talking. Adam, you mentioned that of all the designs, that the PlayStation 3, the original PlayStation 3, was your favorite. Eric, do you have a favorite?
Yeah, one of my favorite. I for me now, it's a toss between that and the Xbox One S.
All right, Eric, have you a favorite? And you could toss now the PS5 into the mix there as well.
I mean, yeah, the PS5 that we were shown and the original PS3, because it had that nice curved piano black with the silver like Sony Spider-Man written across. They were both pretty sexy machines. I'm not gonna lie.
What? You stop calling these machines sexy.
Isn't that what Detroit was about?
Kinda, yeah.
I think it was about becoming
like,
human.
Why was the one on the menu flirting at me every time I wanted to play the game?
Yeah. Will you stop? I'm committed. The PlayStation 3, I think, was my favorite one on the design. Even now, I do prefer that to this one. I like this one. It's stylish, but
yeah.
I know that's probably the only one. That and the Switch were the only ones that the minute I saw them, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The Switch
Yeah.
from its
Which
functions.
is pretty good.
Switch from the
Which is
way
pretty
it's
good.
built and the way it
Yeah.
functions. I was straight away was like, that is so clever and so like that's crazy. But the PlayStation 3, I remember that's the first time a console was revealed where I went, oh, because of the chrome look on it and everything. I
Yeah,
just thought
yeah.
it was so beautifully stylish. Whereas all the rest of them, I had to kind of think about. PlayStation 4, I remember being really disappointed with how it looked.
I
when
was
it-
too. Yeah.
I remember just being like, oh, that seems like a step down, you know. I'm looking forward to seeing what the PS5's features are when you first get to turn it on and mess around.
Mhm.
I do like the controller.
Yeah,
I must-
I fell in love with the
Mm.
controller.
I
initially, yeah.
really like
it's very
the controller.
nice.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about that. So the other thing then to talk about, out of all the games that were shown, and we're not going to go into all of them or anything like that. We were only showing little snippets and features and all, but
not.
of the ones that were shown, which game are you most excited for?
I would probably have to say Resident 8.
Yeah,
Resident
the
Evil
Village.
definitely.
Yeah.
Tell
Like
me.
Because
I know like go ahead, Eric.
yeah, that's just because it feels like 7 and 4, which were two fantastic Resident Evil games,
Right.
slapped together, while having all these other horror tropes. Kind of like the way like Until Dawn's, like Until Dawn has such a nice like system to it because it has all these different horror tropes slapped together, but they made it work together. Like
Yeah.
So Resident Evil 8 feels like it's going to have that as well, while also feeling like Resident Evil 4 because you're in this village and there's like some aristocratic looking enemies and stuff. So I'm that the structure as well. The structure of the trailer was really, really good. So I think that one I'm probably looking forward to the most.
Yeah. How about you, Adam? Was it? It was Resident
Yeah,
Evil.
same with the way they revealed it. You know, because everything else, like even the games we knew about, like with Horizon and stuff like that, it's like the minute they showed you, you could tell by the color palette it was Horizon. So
Yeah.
there's no like surprise. You're like, oh cool, yeah, it's another Horizon, and I know that game's going to be good because the first one was good. So it's kind of hard to be excited about something where you're kind of you know straight up that I'm going to enjoy it. You know, it's just like
Yeah, it's pretty
whatever. Like
safe.
now,
It's like I'm looking
now I don't
forward
have
to that,
to-
but I don't
yeah,
really have to think.
I don't have
about
to
it, right?
look at any more trailers or anything. Like it's like, oh yeah, I know Horizon's coming out, I'm gonna get it. But with Resi, like I don't know, I was completely out of the loop with Resi. I know some people saw Village and knew that was a keyword for 8 or something like that, but I didn't
Yeah,
have a clue.
I had seen that.
Yeah, I didn't have the clue. So when I saw this and they were saying like, you know, his journey comes to an end, I'm like, okay, so it's definitely a series,
Yeah.
or at least the end of a series. And then I'm looking at it, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, is this maybe Silent Hill? Or, you know, because I knew Sony were in talks to working on Silent Hill. So I was on the edge of my seat, like waiting to see like what could this be? But then you had like kind of like a werewolf looking thing in it, and I'm like, okay, I can't make this out at all. And I completely missed the like umbrella symbol in the trailer. Like I only saw that the second time I watched it, but then it goes through and then it shows us like Village, and then you see the minute you see 8 written in Village, you're like, oh, like it's such a good reveal. It's such a good reveal.
Yeah.
I am so excited for that because I have absolutely no idea what it could possibly be. It's a brand new adventure. Chris Redfield looks like, I don't know, dodgy.
Badass.
Yeah,
Looks a bit
like
dodgy,
I don't know.
doesn't he?
Is he a
He's
villain?
finally
Is he
becoming-
not a villain? What's going on? Oh yeah, I'm very very excited for that.
Yeah, I think like I think you hit the nail on the head really. Like the Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? Which is not actually a sequel to Spider-Man. It's actually
No,
just
it's a standalone.
like
Yeah.
standalone expansion thing. But I was the minute I saw that I was like, oh, cool, awesome. I love the Miles Morales character in Into the Spider-Verse. I liked him in the Spider-Man game. I liked the Spider-Man game, so that's gonna be an easy one. Yeah, I'm gonna get that, no problem. Like if
Yep.
I think that's coming out this year. Like
Yeah,
this
I think
Christmas.
that could
I'm
be
like,
launching with the
great.
PS5.
So get the PS5 and play a Spider-Man game on it. Perfect. That's a awesome Christmas for me. Horizon, that's another one where it's like, yeah, no problem. Like I'm looking forward to the second game. We talked about it before when we talked about Horizon in our podcast, we had said, I bet you the second one will have better gameplay. Like the little things that we didn't like, I bet you they will improve on. So I am really looking forward to that. But those were easy. Yeah, Resident Evil 8 Village. That was the one where not only did it show off, I think, the strongest graphics, where I was like, now I can see what, like, wow, this looks incredible. And the lighting is incredible. But just seeing, yeah, there is little hints of like Resi 4. Like the village, like, there's sort of it looks like a cult kind of thing, maybe, possibly, right? I got that. And then also there's just like little hints of the Resi series coming together, I think, because when they walked into this like mansion thing and I saw like the stairs and the chandelier, I was automatically reminded of like the mansion from Resident Evil 1. You've got Chris Redfield in it, but you've also got Ethan from the last game. You're playing as Ethan. It's basically a follow-on. It's sort of a sequel to Resi 7. And it's also the 8th game in the series as a whole. It looks very, very exciting. There's an image that they have shown. Have you seen this? And it's like there's like a nest thing, and there's like these black feathered wings.
Oh yeah. They're like it looks like a fetus, isn't it?
And they argued whether or not to show it to anyone because they have said that if people study this long enough, it gives away a lot of plot details. Which sort of
were you able to make that out at all?
I don't know what it's about.
No.
I think it's very exciting. The only thing because I was going to ask is, did you just have any take on it? My take on it was that it does look like there's this like little fetus thing in the middle, that they're possibly worshipping, and I was automatically then reminded of, not that I think it's the Lost Plagas because I think you're in a totally different place, but I think this game is going to have something similar to that.
Okay.
Like maybe it's a parasite again, or I have a feeling. I got a feeling from this game because there's also like this like shamanistic looking woman, and there was these three women.
They looked great.
It looked like witchcraft or something, right?
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're not going to see a biological virus in this one. I think they're going to go out there. I think it's something. Like I don't know if Resident Evil is going to go for magic, but I think it's going to be something a little bit out there. Maybe it will be like something along the lines of the Plagas or something. That can explain all the weird supernatural stuff, but I don't think it's going to be like a lab created virus.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know.
Absolutely no idea.
Not a clue. But I know I'm excited.
Yeah, but I love the style. Like there's definitely like a Dracula's Bride kind of thing going on, and then obviously the kind of what looks like a wolf man. I don't know if it is, but it does look like it.
Designed to look like one, and I love that scene where there's an old man
with a shotgun in the house.
In a house, right? And they're bursting into the wall, but it's gonna be first person. So it's like, so that's gonna be like, so you're gonna do like a first person version of like the Siege from Resi 4, where they're all coming into the house and you're boarding up the windows and shit. Oh, that is gonna be so, and they're like breaking through the roof or something. Like obviously this is all speculation, but man, that'd be so intense. I'm really like, I will be getting that game. I don't know if I'll have the courage to actually play it.
I hope they make that VR as well, like they did with 7. Because I can only imagine what the VR will be like with the PS5. Like that's one thing we haven't actually seen yet. I know the VR is compatible with the PS5.
Oh, is it? I was going to ask that. That was my next question. Are they going to bring it?
I think they do plan on, which I think is quite interesting when you look at the design of the VR headset.
Do you know?
Next to the design of the PS5.
You've just highlighted that to me now. The second you just said that, I was like, oh my god, because I was like, when I saw the PlayStation 5, even though I was like, that looks way different than what I expected, I was still like, there is still something PlayStation-y about it, and I can't place it, and that's what it is. Yeah, the PSVR.
Yeah,
it's like they've based it on that.
Yeah, it's like same color scheme, same use of like the way they use the lights and stuff, but I can only imagine how that's going to look with the PS5 plugging into it. Like, I really hope that's VR as well. That's going to be.
I would say it will be, because I mean, if it works the same way essentially, because it's all first person anyway, it makes sense to me. I'm kind of happy. No, I'm not kind of. I am happy that they went back to first person too. Not that I have anything against, like, personally in the Resi series, I do prefer the over shoulder look, right?
Yep.
But I like that now they feel like they can go and make a one that's in third person, and they can go and make a one in first person. And it's not like any one of them is now the right path to take in terms of Resi game. Like they could be as creative as they feel the game needs to be. So,
Yeah, like I think they made such a really good decision making the first person, because it is difficult now to do horror in third person. It's quite
Yeah.
hard, you know.
but
I
doing
think Dead Space is probably the last good horror
yeah.
third person game.
well until you play the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Resident 2 remake.
Jesus Christ. But just playing in first person with their Ori engine, the amazing lighting and amazing graphics. Yeah, it looks so good. I know I'm gonna absolutely hit myself playing Resident Evil Village, but
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it. And I do like that it's called Village, not only because they get 8 in there, but it just they're definitely not like dancing around the fact that they're like, we are kind of referencing 4.
For
So
a
we're
bit, yeah.
basically putting 7 and 4 in a blender with some
Yeah.
new stuff. And it's like, wow. So good.
I have a feeling I'm the only one who's going to play this first. And I'm going to have to convince you to play it and be like, it's not that scary. And then watch
Oh,
you
absolutely.
yourself,
You're
which
going to have to
would be
come
fun.
over and be
Definitely.
my guide and tell me what to do. That's the
Yeah.
thing, though. I just know that there's going to be enemies that stalk you again. And I'm like, I hate that. Well, I don't hate it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I hate that I love it. And I love that I hate
And
it.
I'm never going to let you know when they come along.
I know.
I find it weird that they managed to, Sony managed to get that shown at their event, and it wasn't shown at like the Xbox one or anything like that. So
Yeah, that's weird,
I'm
actually.
wondering if there's.
Some sort of timed exclusive?
I doubt there's timed exclusivity, but perhaps the VR is because that's the thing. Like
It's the main.
Resi 7 on the PS4 had the VR compatibility, but on the Xbox obviously it doesn't. There's no
Yes, of
added
course.
benefit to having
Yeah.
it on the Xbox. So I'm wondering if that is it, but they didn't mention it. There was no mention as to what it
Well,
it
look,
was.
it's
So I don't
still
know.
early days, and there's more to come. I think you're onto something, though. I think it will be VR, and I think you might be right that that's maybe why they have connected it with PlayStation this time around.
Yeah.
Because it's never been necessarily exclusive. But anyway, those are our general thoughts on the PlayStation 5 event. All of our thinkings on what we think about the console itself, its design, how it stands up against the Xbox Series X, or which one we like more, and also which game we're most excited for. But we'd love to hear from other people, whether it's in YouTube comments on YouTube or messaging on our social media or whatever it is. We'd love to hear what people think about this new console, where it holds up in terms of consoles in general, in terms of design, and also which of the games that were shown are you most looking forward to. I think there was a lot of variety. Also, I just want to say, actually, because I've never a Ratchet and Clank fan, right? Never was. But if I was, I would be super excited about that game that they showed.
That actually
Because
looks
that
class.
Dimensions
That
thing
looks really good.
Really fun and fantastic. So I must say, like,
Yeah.
I have a friend who's really into Ratchet and Clank. The second I saw that, I went, he is nerding out right now. I know he is.
Yeah.
So look, I only brought that up because there was definitely stuff for lots of different types of players. So I'd be interested to see which of the games were other people most excited
It's
for.
definitely probably. I don't know we don't know the dates really, but some of the games look like they're releasing this year and some early next year. But either way, this is one of the. This is probably since the PS2 maybe. Actually, I can't really remember. Really great games launching early with this thing. Like it took a while to get good games for PS4.
I was expecting just a remaster and a first-person shooter or a battle royale style game, and that's it. I was kind of expecting it. I'm gonna get the console and I'm gonna use it for anything but gaming for a couple of months. But now it looks like I might get to play Spider-Man, Miles Morales,
Which
this
is
Christmas.
Such a great game to
that
start
sounds
with.
fun. So
Yeah.
Anyway, those are our thoughts, guys. We'd love to hear from you, and we will have our long podcast episode coming out too. So do check that out. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye now.